first I want to talk about this Marine. Now, I talked about him when he first came out and was getting in trouble. Well, not necessarily getting in trouble, but I fully expected him to get in trouble. I kind of expected this exact thing to happen. So he got jailed, and he had a viral video of him talking to the camera about accountability, wanting the generals in charge to be accountable for the actions of the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Because it was done terribly. I don't know if there's still Americans out there. It wouldn't surprise me if there were still Americans out there. Biden claimed that he was going to get every single one of them back. Of course, then he chose not to keep Bagram Airport. He chose not to keep Kabul under their control. He gave it away to the Taliban, and that caused a huge problem at the airport in Kabul, which, of course, you know, we lost 13 service members, which is a huge shame. They didn't need to die. We could have had thousands of troops there. And I'm going to show it to you. And they've actually admitted to it, that they could have had a couple thousand, 2,500 troops to secure Kabul before and get all the Americans out. All right. But that guy got, he's jailed now. So outspoken Marine officer who went viral blasting military leaders over Afghanistan is jailed. That's Marine Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller. Let's see. So yeah, so he went viral after that video. I'm sure this is the video here. This is a quote, all our son did is ask the questions that everyone was asking themselves, but they were too scared to speak aloud. Scheller's father, Stu Scheller, told Task and Purpose. He was asking for accountability. In fact, I think he even asked for an apology that we made mistakes, but they couldn't do that, which is mind-blowing. Scheller first rose to the internet stardom by posting a video to Facebook blasting military leaders for the U.S. withdrawal of Afghanistan, questioning their command questions on the events leading up to and during the final evacuation effort. Scheller would go on to release several more videos, generating praise and controversy while drawing the ire of military leadership. Eventually, he was told by superiors to stop posting to social media altogether, an order he immediately ignored by posting about the gag order. The officer also seemingly realized that last post could result in his trip to the brig. Quote, "What happens when all you do is speak truth and no one wants to hear it? But they can probably stop listening because I'm crazy, right?" Scheller wrote at the end of the post, "Colonel Amel, please have the MPs waiting for me at 1800 on Monday. I'm ready for jail." I mean, during one of these viral videos, not the initial one, but the following one, when he was kind of in hiding, he was in some sort of a school bus, RV or something in the woods somewhere, and he was saying, I tendered my resignation. He retired. He said, I don't want the benefits I'm probably entitled to, because he was in the service for more than a decade. So he was entitled to a lot of things. I think he had 2 years left, or maybe 3 years left. I'm not actually certain on that. Let's see here. Scheller is currently in a pre-trial confinement. A spokesperson for Training and Education Command said of the officer's status. The time, date, and location of the proceedings have not been determined. Lieutenant Colonel Scheller will be afforded all due process, the statement continued. But the elder Scheller defended his son, arguing that he was only asking for accountability for the military's top brass. He's asking for the same accountability that is expected of him and his men, he said. I've had Vietnam veterans contacting me, applauding him for his courage because they too want to know, was it all worth it, he continued. And by demanding an accountability and honesty from his senior leaders, that's all he was asking. And the way the Marine Corps has dealt with it, they now have put him in jail. So I agree 100%. As a citizen, as an American, I should be given all transparency for what the military that my tax dollars help pay for is doing. They should be held accountable for what they do. Someone should pay for killing that family, that innocent family. I believe it was 7 children. That was their response to the whole Kabul thing. kill a family, kill some children. And they stood by it. No one has come and apologized for that. Oh, it was a righteous strike. General Milley has claimed. Of course, this was before they found out that it was actually an interpreter that helped American forces for years and his family. Oh, that secondary explosion that they found out? That was actually probably just some propane somewhere nearby, maybe like an outdoor heater or something. It certainly wasn't from the next car over, which was what they were claiming for the longest time. Well, there was a secondary explosion, right, Jen Psaki? That's what you made it very clear that, well, it was obvious that we got him. Accountability. I mean, the same goes with elections. Transparency, accountability, it all goes hand in hand. We deserve it. We need it. As American citizens, we should have all of that. We should know what happened with the audit, which is absolutely crazy. I did a segment on it last week. What's happening with it? Nothing. No one's talking about it. They're sweeping that under the rug because they don't want people to talk about the duplicate ballots. They found duplicate ballots. Oh, sure, they found 90 more ballots, but the ballots shouldn't have been counted in the first place. These people don't understand that. They're ignoring the base of all the stuff. Just like what happened in Afghanistan. We need accountability. These people are just going, there's no way we could have known. Here, this is Secretary Austin. There's a video of him basically saying this. This is a quote. "We helped build a state, but we could not forge a nation. The fact that the Afghan army that we and our partners trained simply melt away, in many cases without firing a shot, took us by surprise. It would be dishonest to claim otherwise." Are you serious? That last statement too, it would be dishonest to claim otherwise. Are you kidding me? I've seen so many videos. I've talked to military members that were like, yeah, these guys didn't care. They just smoked drugs. They did drugs. They didn't care. They were like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I've seen the training videos where they're laughing. They're both, the trainees are laughing. The trainers are laughing. They're like, these guys are jokes. I haven't seen any proof that they would have stood up and defended against the Taliban at all. So this is a blatant lie. You're lying. Of course, it's ABC News and Politics that they would share. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust any of these people anymore. Psaki, of course, comes out and says she does not deny generals advised Biden against his Afghanistan withdrawal deadline. There's a little snip from Sean Hannity of her saying that. But I don't want to hear that woman's voice. I hear it enough when I have to listen to her press briefings. It is the worst. As you know, gaslighting. Yeah, I can't stand that woman. Anyway. But on that same note, the Pentagon brass revealed that Biden ignored troop recommendations on Afghanistan. President Joe Biden's decision to withdraw all troops from Afghanistan was against the personal judgment of two of his highest-ranking military officers, both General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and General Frank McKenzie, the head of the U.S. Central Command, said Tuesday during testimony on Capitol Hill that they believed roughly 2,000 troops should have remained in Afghanistan. I believe the number was actually 2,500. So one could argue 3,000 if they're just going to say 2,000, whatever. I mean, 2,500 troops. That would have made a huge difference. We could have secured at least the border of the airport itself and allowed American citizens to leave. I heard horror stories of people that got to the gates and were turned away and were said to go shelter in place somewhere until it's safe. That we'll email you. Go to this website and log in and then we'll get back to you via email. Yeah. Where is the accountability? Whose fault is it then? Is it the generals for not pressing Biden that said, you are making a huge mistake. I want us to go on record that I am against what you're about to do and withdraw these thousands of troops. We should keep them in, and I want it on the record so you know it's your fault. Did they do that? No. No, they didn't. Because you know that they would have been like, see, I went on record to show him. And enter back this Marine. This is exactly what he's talking about. Okay? Stuart Scheller. He said, we need accountability. Nobody is taking the responsibility for this. Is it Biden's fault? Yes. That's really the key. It is absolutely Biden's fault because he made the decision to withdraw the troops. He made the decision to withdraw from Bagram Airport, the Air Force base. He made the decision to not keep Kabul, the whole city, which he had the option to do. Taliban said, hey, look, you can take the whole city. And he's like, no, we're just going to take everyone out. You can have the city. Maybe not verbatim, sure. But essentially, that's what happened. Okay. Or maybe it is the general's fault. Is it the general's fault for not saying, you have to do it this way? This is my other guy. We're both in agreement that you are going to get people killed and leave people behind if we don't leave some troops on the ground right now. So now this guy's in jail. Why? He tendered his resignation. He didn't want to be in the army anymore. Why would he be court-martialed? Why would he even be, granted, I don't know the process of tendering your resignation from active military service, as I never joined the military myself. I thought about it for a while, and I ended up not doing it, but I don't know how many of you know about Geeks and Gamers, but Ryan from Geeks and Gamers was in the Navy for a long time, and I actually didn't even know because he didn't talk about it. He didn't make mention at all of his political leanings. It was more, pop culture stuff, the movies and all that. But now that he's officially a civilian again, he's snapping, and I can't wait to have him on my show. But should we have expected Colonel Scheller to do that? Scheller? I don't know how to say his name, but it still remains. Should we have expected him to just keep his mouth shut? When someone says, hey, the higher-ups aren't doing what they should be doing. No one's being held accountable for what just happened, this terrible withdrawal of Afghanistan. It feels like people want to forget it, which is insane. Biden is doing a terrible job. The generals are doing a terrible job. I mean, a couple governors are doing terrible things for their states. Looking at you, California. Looking at you, New York. I'm going to talk about New York governor in a little while. I think it's a shame. I think it's ridiculous that this guy's in jail. All he did was ask for accountability. And I think he had every right to say that.